Okay. Hi, everybody, and welcome to the cover reveal for My Husband Wants to Keep Me Gay. We will get started in just a few seconds, but I just wanted to say hi first and go over some comments that are over on the YouTubes and go from there. Yeah? Yeah. This is not going to be a productivity stream at all. It's going to be a cover reveal and me sharing some snippets from My Husband Wants to Keep Me Gay and possibly My Husband Wants to Keep Me Sated if you are interested in hearing from it as well. And it is the art reveal for one Regis Novassos, who is the male main character in My Husband Wants to Keep Me Pristine, and he makes appearances all throughout the 4 books. So yeah, it's got a few things going on today. We have Rach in here first, talking about a book event that she had or made the table back and had book one sell out. So yeah, hopefully the delivery will come soon. And yes, yay for new covers. Love it, I love it, I love it. We have a Eva, hello, and we have a Hubs with a Kona in his lap. She is probably pouting because she has spent the last 2 hours laying on me, making my leg go numb and all that good stuff. So now she has to lay on him. Pouting for a child, yes. Thank you. You should because you found it for me. Hello, how are you? Been a while. I can hear you say this. I mean, that's just wrong. Just wrong. All right. So, without further ado, we're going to get into the slides. Here we go. So, yes, My Husband Wants to Keep Me Day. It's not launch day. It is the cover reveal. Forgive me for downloading this and just realizing it 5 seconds ago that I still had the launch day things up there. But you know what? It's okay. Launch day will hopefully be around June 11th if it isn't June 11th. I still got to see if Libraria still wants to do the launch party there and if June 11th is good with them. And also see when I can get my shipment in of My Husband Wants to Keep Me Gay so that we have stuff to sell and to sign on the launch day. So, yeah. So here you see the first book, My Husband Wants to Keep Me Pristine. It is very, very funny, if I do say so myself. And we have the second book, My Husband Wants to Keep Me Dominant. It is still very funny, but also like trauma. Lots of trauma. But yeah, failure. I know. If I had everything together, it would be scary. So if there's one thing that goes wrong, it's fine because it means that I'm being normal and I haven't turned into a robot. All right. So, My Husband Wants to Keep Me Pristine is a dark romantic comedy fantasy. It's fun and refreshing. Verson is the female main character, and she's just determined to have her husband do his bedroom duties. But he's also determined to keep her pristine for a better man. Comedy of errors, misunderstandings, and frustrations all around. And a little bit later, we will be doing a reveal of the art that Ashlis did for me. I'm still not sure how she wants to pronounce it. With Regis, she is working on the other characters. She is almost finished with Harry as well. Kind of hoping that she would have Harry done by now, but it's fine. Maybe I'll reveal Harry's countenance on the launch day. So we'll see. All right, and My Husband Wants to Keep Me Dominant, which is the second book in the series, is a dark romantic comedy fantasy. It has a bit of BDSM in it, so it is a little bit darker than Pristine. Well, probably a whole bunch darker than Pristine, because yeah, all the things. uh, Harry's traumatic background does make this a little bit darker, but Harry's comedic presence to overcome and heal from his traumatic background also makes it really funny. And there is trigger warnings for this book because it has death, gore, like the first book did. But it has mentions of incest, rape, necrophilia, and of course it has stuff on the page and innuendos and BDSM, and it does have a C-section uh, on the page as well. So, yeah, it got a little dark, but Harry is also amazing. And there we have it. There is your cover for My Husband Wants to Keep Me Gay. I tried to keep it with, you know, Pristine and Dominant, where you have the two main characters in the little circle there, and we have their weapons of choice. Fedvik is a dual wielder for most of the time, but he is also an archer, hence the little arrows around the circle this time. And Doxy wields a single sword, uh, not as much as Fedvik would like, but there it is. So My Husband Wants to Keep Me Gay. There is the cover for it. I did red ribbons around the edges because of Fedvik's um, fascination with silks. And you will learn that he has a fear of heights in the book, and he wasn't quite ready to tackle silks or work with them in any way because of that. But the boys, yeah, taught him not to be afraid of anything. So that's the reason why there's the ribbons. And Fedvik's eyes are also like a bronzy color. So that's the reason why I did the bronze stars as well. So, dark romantic comedy fantasy again. You finally get to learn a bit more about Fedvik and his need for Doxy. Also, more about Doxy and why Fedvik caught his eye. How many times will Doxy blush and fumble his words in this book? It's a lot. I'll tell you that right now. And the trigger warnings for book 3 here are death, gore, mentions of necrophilia, sexual innuendos, and sex on the page. I love the colors, but teal is a fave. Yes, very much so. I love it. I've wanted to do teal as a book cover forever, and when these 4 popped up, I'm like, hey, here's my chance. But yeah. So in the center, you have Fedvik on the left as you're looking at the screen, with his kind of choppy long hair going on. And then you have the shorter, stockier Doxy on the right with kind of his like floof hair that always falls in front of his face. Doxy looks kind of like a pup, sort of. I don't know. There's a Heather. Hey, I love the colors and design. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. And here are the characters. So I did make these in Canva using the AI a little bit. So just be wary of that. Fedvik is the other redhead. He is got a mouthful for a name, but it's Fedvik de Lorraine Gavanch, son of Gachent. And Son of Gachant means that he used his body to earn money for the village. And it's just a thing that their culture did. They began training at an early age, and they go from there. And then, hey, Dawn, how are you? Thank you, thank you, thank you. And yeah, Fedvik wasn't the only one, or isn't the only one doing these things. He did have a master who you meet in a flashback, and you will meet him again in series 2, or yeah, whatever. Uh, My Wife Wants series. So yeah, you'll meet the master officially in one of those books. And Doxy. Doxy is one of the Palms. He is the second eldest. He's the youngest, only to Percy. Um, he has a baby face, so he looks more like the one on the left than the right, because the right still has like that 5 o'clock shadow thing going on, and Doxy doesn't really have that. But his hair is a little bit more on what's on the right. So yeah. Like I said, there's Percy, then there's Doxy, and then there's Matthias, Selick, and Adeline. Adeline is Harry's new wife, and this book occurs right after Harry and Adeline kind of get married and move into the Norvasos home and are kind of living there because Harry just wants to torture Regis some more and everybody else, because that's just the way he is. Oh no, where's my reminder, YouTube? YouTube be YouTubing. That's not good. I don't like it. All right. So, some of the things in My Husband Wants to Keep Me Gay is age gap, experienced with naive, miscommunication trope all the way around. Everyone knows, but the main characters don't. And, of course, flashbacks. So, the problem that this book tries to solve for you is Fevik has never had anyone confuse him or keep him trailing as long as Doxy has. Is Doxy the one and only who doesn't want him? Fevik is very used to everybody wanting him in some form or fashion. Mostly one form and one fashion, but he will take anything from Doxy, honestly, at this point. And Doxy knows he's no match for the world of choices Fedvik has, but by the gods, he can't help but be in love with the man. Doxy sees Fedvik as a literal sex god, and he thinks that he is just not good enough, because who is ever good enough for a godlike being, right? Right. So that is their conundrum and their reason for the miscommunication and all that jazz that keeps this book going. Here are some of the other characters in the book. Some of the other male characters. There's Regis. That is not the artwork that Achilles did. And Harry, Charn, Slaith, and Bertrand. And of course, there's Doxy again. And let's see, you get some more Bertrand in here. You get some more Charn in here. You get a little less Harry, but he's definitely there. But yeah. And here is the artwork that I commissioned. So this is Regis Norvasos, the main character in My Husband Wants to Keep Me Pristine, and the commander of all the crazy boys. But yeah, Aklis is mostly on Facebook. That's where she has a group there, and I will share that in the chat. once I get back to it. Did I close that tab? Of course I closed that tab. Because why would I keep it open? Oh, man. But she does some amazing book cover art, and she does some amazing character art as well. None of her pieces are AI. What she does is photo manipulation. And she will purchase the license to use the photos of the models or the items that she uses and manipulate them into what her client wants. And this is what I wanted for Regis. I wanted him to look a little bit scarred, a little bit rough around the edges, and of course, very muscular. He's had a couple of bones in his right arm not set correctly, but he has like a scar right here on his hip that kind of makes his side look a little weird, and there's one on his back that makes his back look a little weird. But yeah, there's Regis, and of course he has the scar on the face too. But yeah, I sold one of these at the fair last Saturday. Had a lot of comments on it. And there was one that kind of concerned me. It was like if James Franco had long hair and muscles, and I'm like, no, let's not. Let's not. Let's not. No. Is there a scar on? Yes. It is light, kind of. Let me see if I can pull up like the bigger image here, and maybe it'll be easier to see. Okay. No. Stop. Sorry, gang. So you can kind of see the scar right here a little bit. Kind of wanted it to be deeper, but I get it. I love the realism of the arm. Yeah. The girls who asked if he came with a purchase was good. Yeah. Yeah. I think one of the guys said, "Why is he staring at me like that?" I think it was the dude that asked if there was aftercare in my books. So yeah, and I love like the glare that is also kind of mixed with confusion that she did in his face because yeah, he's he he has a lot to deal with Harry and Fedvic just by themselves, and then you add Bertrand and Slaith and Charn and Doxy and yeah, and Verson. So yeah, yes, I like it. I like it. Got a lot of great comments about the print. Yep, I can't wait to show y'all Harry too. She's giving me a sneak peek kind of thing, so I could like give her feedback on what else I wanted with it, and yeah, that's he's gonna be pretty awesome. But yeah, so that's Regis. And I love the training grounds too. But yeah, and there he is, folks. All right, let's do away with that. I might bring him back up later. But yeah, um, still, in My Husband Wants to Keep Me Gay, you don't quite know what race or races Regis is. You will not find that out until the second and last season, possibly even the last book. Thinking it might be the third book though that you find out, because third book will be Matthias's book, and he is so freaking curious about everything. He has to know the truth about everything. So leave it to him to find out. But yeah, that's Regis. All right, and a little bit about the other characters that you will find in My Husband Wants to Keep Me Gay. There is Percival, the eldest Palm brother, the knower of things Palm related except for navigation. Uh, Percy will get his own book coming soon. He is the first book of the second season, and you will learn just how bad he is at navigating his own home, even. So, yeah. And then there's Seelick, a middle palm brother, is actually friends with navigation because he is a sailor slash explorer. And he is also the god of cheesy pickup lines. Matthias is another palm brother, the knower of things except for societal norms. He is the embodiment of a medieval geek, I guess. And then there are the Viscounts Palm, the parents. They know they have raised their children to be too willful, and that's all right. They are the world's problem now because all of their children are adults, and it's fine. They just let them loose. And then there's Addie, who is Harry's wife, who is Doxy's little sister. Very outspoken, very curious, and quite clever. And she's probably going to be the one that Percy chooses to uh, bear the palm that is going to take over the Palm estate, because he feels that Harry's brain is formidable enough to take over the Palm world. And then you will meet Win and Quinn. Sorry, I got a phone call randomly. Win is the owner of one of the businesses that Fedvic operates, and a very old friend of Fedvic's. And Quinn is one of Fedvic's students that works at said enterprise. But Quinn might have actually surpassed his master in a couple of things that Fedvic kind of finds out. All right. We're going to go into favorite lines that I have. So I will be reading them here off the screen. Let me take a drink before. If you have any questions, just pop them into the chat. Mark them with a Q so I don't miss them. I probably won't miss them anyway, but if you have any questions, do that. After I read some of these favorite lines, I will open up for y'all to request like a page or a chapter for me to read, either from Gay or Sated. Reminder, Sated is not fully edited and it's not completely done yet. There are still 3, maybe 4 chapters I want to write out of it. So it will be changing. So the words that I read to you may not even be in the book whenever it becomes published for Sated. All right, so some of my favorite lines from My Husband Wants to Keep Me Gay. I wanted to spend time with the best of us. Fedvik made sure not to drip too much sex appeal into his voice. Charn was fast to leave with heavy teasing. Then you should have sat in the kitchen. I dare not. Seeing you in your element is too much for me to bear. He kept Charn's gaze. Charn's lips twisted and he sat back in his chair. With Herrick balls deep and Regis gone to do the same, you're lost, aren't you? I wouldn't mind letting you do things. Charn rolled his eyes. His voice dropped from a high pitch to a harsh whisper after he swallowed. While you may be hard pressed, I don't need sex every time I drop my pants. Fedvik chuckled and stated, I cannot wait for the day you fall in love. He meant it with his entire being. The big bear across from him needed something to cradle in those arms. And it is from chapter 2, which is titled, Be at Ease, Will You, and Make Me Dream of You Again. I will read the chapter titles too in a bit because I think they're hilarious and you have to suffer through them because I said so. Some more here is, tell you what, little Palm, you can see me in action tonight. Are you sure you won't end up standing and drooling while staring at Doxy? Fedvik kicked Harry's shin. I do not drool. Harry grunted and rubbed his shin with a grin. Are you sure? Have you truly ever seen me drool? That one time at the camp with the fire. All our camps had fires. For those of you who are aged like I am and pop cultural references there. But this is from chapter 4. If I don't know, I'm innocent, right? And then the next one we have is his feet were off the ground. No one had carried him since he was a child. The men knocked into him with grunts and a rather colorful curse. Fedvik said with a huff, Right, then left. Right, Char nodded. No, it's left. Doxy looked down at the men's feet to either side of him. My right? We all have the same right, Fedvik cried, running his free hand over his face. Shenanigans again. Everybody wants to cheese Fedvik, and he takes it well, for the most part. But this is from chapter 11, called Stairway to Heaven. And then this one is next. She's a tyranny. She's better than a tyranny. Boys, I'm a palm tyranny. You're both right. Fedvik heard himself make the oddest sound as pain shot through his back and down his arm when she pushed a particular spot on his shoulder. Oh, Palm, please don't hurt me like that anymore. He groaned when she stopped. But don't stop. Is there a reason why all members of the Seven love pain? Addie asked, returning to her ministrations. Have you met Regis? Both men asked at the same time. And this is from chapter 13. What is life? Baby, don't hurt me. And some more because y'all know me. I love these books. But here is some more scenes. All right, this is from chapter 22. Redheads are not allowed. Remember him asking if you needed help bathing after twisting that knee? Doxy nodded. Yeah, of course. He stared at Slaith as the old man stared at him. It was nice of him. Hopeless. Slaith said the word like it were his favorite curse. He dug into his saddlebags, taking out 2 pairs. He tossed one to Doxy before taking out his knife and carving a little slice off. Do us all a favor when we get back. You walk right up to that narcissistic bastard and stick his dick in your mouth. His face flamed again. I don't know if I'm any good at that. Son, that's between you and him. If you are after a woman, I'd talk all about that. All I know with dicks is what I like, and you are not privy to those details. Poor Doxy. He gets it from all sides. He really does. And the next one. I can't leave you in this den of iniquity. Harry sat down beside Fedvick and watched the session before him. Fedvick snorted. You're one to talk. Every room you enter turns into a den of iniquity. This is from chapter 23, Sucking Weeds and Old Friends. All right, so that was the last of my little favorite scenes. And here is the map to their world as it stands now until I get like it professionally done and it looks better. But where most of the story takes place is in the capital and the Norvasos lands, which is right above the capital, right outside the city itself. And Gachint is, of course, Fedvick's homeland, so there are a couple of flashbacks that are there, and also a couple of chapters that are set there as well. And I just kind of want to point out again, because it's kind of like a hint for the second season, the only place that was not ravaged or touched by the tyrant was Slace's homeland. But little do they know that there is also a second place that wasn't really touched, and you will find out where in season 2. Don't hurt me no more. Yep. Here's the usual slide of what else can you expect in battles and training: magic, godlike people, humans, dragonkin, elves, witchkin, and teasing banter. Yeah. Palms are dragonkin, and Fedvick is a witchkin. And of course, there are humans in there. They think. Regis claims to be human. But, yeah. All right. So, here is where you can pick the read. You can pick a chapter, which is chapters 1 through 33, or you can pick a page between 1 and 158. And also, if you want to do sated as well, let me know. And you have pages 1 to, I think that should be a 188. No, it's 88. Interesting. Makes me think that there's like a bunch missing, but I guess not. This is the reason why I need to add like 3 more chapters. And then chapters 1 to 26. There are more chapters than that, but, well, 1 more chapter than that, but I don't want to like give away the ending either. So yeah, let me know what you want me to read. "42", of course. Come on, let's go to the right tab, Sam. Let's go. What are you doing? So 42 is the beginning of a chapter. It is the beginning of chapter 10, which is called Can't Stop the Feeling. Oh, I need to read the chapter titles too. But here is page 42. Dip right hip. Circle. Doxy, what the god's balls are you doing? Fedvik stopped clapping the time for the men and eyed the boy he wanted to taste more than air. I have no idea, Doxy huffed, blowing out his rounded cheeks as he placed his hands on his narrow hips. Fedvik thought of anything but Doxy's mouth as he counted to 5 in his head. Take a break. Dox, not you. Come here. Remaining seated would be optimal for this discussion. Honestly, it was the best position any time he had his eyes on Doxy since he couldn't get the man where he really wanted him. He swung his legs off the edge of the stage, watching the rest of the men leave in such a hurry that they had to be starving. Or they realized his intense desire was beyond their capacity. Once the men were in the kitchens or the barracks, Doxy moved toward him and stopped within arm's reach. What's wrong? Doxy's cheeks puffed out again before he answered. Nothing. Your mind is elsewhere. I can tell. Fedvik pulled his leg up, rested his heel on the edge of the stage, and hoped he hid himself well enough. Doxy was dangerously gleaming, frustrated, and fucking sexy. Why are we learning how to dance again? The boys must make money somehow. There are a few jobs for us now that we've squashed the rest of the tyrant's followers, minus a handful of tyrannies that eluded their grasp, but that was for him, Harry, and Regis to track, not anyone else. Bertrand's training puts them in good shape to make a lot of ladies drool, and the entertainment district always has coin to share for an exclusive show for their most prized patrons. And that is page 42. But 42. Page 113 for Rach. It's 104. It's 120. I went too far. 113 is the end of a chapter. So let me go up a little bit to 112 to get the first few sentences here to this paragraph. Oh, it's a flashback too. So this is one of the darker moments. I will say that. So beware. Trigger warnings for gore and yeah. Whiplashes still sounded at regular intervals. He looked up, watching the blood flowing to slay slow, then drop. The pool of red around the blood elf thickened and oozed outward slowly. Bertrand leaned against a wall, checking his nails and digging blood and flesh out of them with someone else's fingernail still attached to a severed hand. Regis was lovingly cleaning his sword with a tattered fiber cloth, his eyes on the prince and king. Please, the king begged for the 100th time. He screamed when Harry whipped his hand, the ring and pinky finger falling off. He stumbled back, clutching his stubs, then tripped over a body and splayed on the floor. The whip came down on his crotch. The pants ripped and blood spurted. Harry didn't stop with one. The king screamed and cried curses with each hit, trying to twist away, only to be whipped on a thigh or ass and his body instinctively rolling back to protect the fresh wound. The king curled up in a fetal position at the entrance. Dark ruby red scales erupted along his back as the man elongated. A screaming growl shook the room. Harry stepped over him, jerking him up by his pale red hair. When his father opened his mouth to scream or curse, Harry grabbed his tongue, holding him up by the slippery organ and shaking off the hair of his newly freed hand. He slit his father's tongue and lips off with his dagger, then shoved them into the open, gurgling maw as his teeth sharpened into the predator within. Fedvik looked away as Harry began carving into the man's chest. Need the head as bait and proof, Regis stated calmly, watching the scene unfold before him as if it was nothing new. Done, Harry said, switching his dagger for the sword on his back. He hacked, then held up his father's head, half human, half dragon, in a twisted, glassy state of death. Shall we? He asked, motioning to the door with his father's dripping head. So that is page 113. All right. So on that note, we'll go to page 69 that James wants it. Once. Yeah. We have a book with spice, and no one has asked for 69 yet, but James comes in for the rescue. Hopefully, we'll see what page 69 is. I think that might be another flashback. Maybe. Yeah, it is. So this is the beginning of chapter 16, which is called Precious Memories. This is Year of Bertrand's Training, 25 years ago. He couldn't breathe at all. His entire body burned, including his mouth, throat, and all the way down to the recesses of his lungs. Still, he put one foot in front of the other. The swords, saddles, and gear shifted on his back with each step, and he grunted as he fought to keep his feet underneath him. Another breathful of fire filled his mouth, scraped down his throat, and flared to burn him alive from the inside. Birds chirped. A butterfly dared to flit across his path, making him pause in his pattern. To Fedvik, it seemed he was learning to walk from infancy. 20 years old, he was a toddler, trembling with each footstep, unsure if he could keep his balance. He kept his eyes on the narrow path in front of him. If he looked up, he'd fall backwards. Not that he knew that from experience or anything. When the path disappeared into a clearing in 3 more steps, after a butterfly had nearly toppled him, he scented a fire. Fedvik ventured to raise his gaze. He thanked the gods. He never saw men so beautiful in all his life, and he wanted to kill all 3 of them with his bare hands. Not any time soon, though. One more step and he let the gear fall off his back. The lightness of only his own weight on his feet created a sensation of flying. Good job, boy, Bertrand stated while standing up, taking a sip from the earthen mug in his hand. Want some water? Fedvik licked his lips and answered, but nothing came out of his mouth. Why were his lips so rough on his tongue? When had that happened? What was that, boy? So yeah, that's page 69. The first day of official training for one Fedvik de Lorraine Gavanch by Bertrand, the one who wants to secretly murder them all through exercise. But yeah. All right. So, chapter titles. Chapter 1 is called O Brother, Brother, Where Art Thou, O Brother? Chapter 2 is Be at Ease, Will You, and Make Me Dream of You Again. Chapter 3, I could have had a family by now with as much seed as I've spilled because of you. Chapter 4, If I Don't Know, I'm Innocent, right? Chapter 5, If You Know, You Know. Chapter 6, Flustered is the dessert, and whipped is the man. Chapter 7, Stripping Time with Fedvik. Chapter 8, He Knows You Know That He Knows. Chapter 9. I yearn, I burn, I'm already lost. Chapter 10. Can't stop the feeling. Chapter 11. Stairway to heaven. Chapter 12. Fall to hell. Chapter 13. What is life? Baby, don't hurt me. Chapter 14. Happy endings are made of these. Chapter 15. Mistress Coldwater never fails. Chapter 16. Precious memories. Chapter 17. Is it water nymphs or is it myths? Chapter 18. Story time with Fedvik. Chapter 19. Both. Both is good. Chapter 20. Hung out to dry. Chapter 21. I love the smell of sex in the morning. Chapter 22. Redheads not allowed. Chapter 23. Sucking weeds and old friends. 24. Being tight is not always a good thing. 25. Bait and tackle. 26. The games of crones. 27. This is not the time for questions. Chapter 28. Bigger, blacker cave. Chapter 29. The first son of Gachent. Chapter 30. Took you long enough. Chapter 31. Creatures of the night, what music they make. 32. From the first time I laid eyes on you, I was yours. And the final chapter. Chapter 33. Where the Gachent and the Palm play. So those are the chapters that you have to choose from, or you can just choose a random number between 1 and 33. Or you can choose something from My Husband Wants to Keep Me Sated, which is a mite smaller than the other 3 books right now, but it is going to be fleshed out with 3 more chapters. No, more than that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have written 3 more chapters than what it once was. Charn is a very silent man. That's the reason why his book is so short right off the bat. But yeah. I will read chapter 1. Maybe. Okay. Chapter 1. O brother, brother, where art thou? O brother. Put that thing away. Put it away. Damnable. You are no brother of mine. Now, Doxy, Percy crooned, is that any way to treat me, your most beloved eldest brother? He ran a hand along the length of the cage he coddled. His steps were steady toward his screaming sibling. Doxy's heart rabbited, and he thought he would burst from the inside out. His entire body shook, and a cold sweat erupted on his face. No matter how fast he moved around the drawing room, Percy became 1 step closer than the last time he looked. Was that thing in the cage getting bigger, too? The gods of fear needed to leave him alone. He climbed onto the back of a plush chair, reaching for the thick drapes that hung from the large picture window. He clung to them, wrapping all his limbs around them except the one holding his weight on the back of the chair. Stay back. Come now, it's only a little bitty squirrel. It's even in a cage. The way his brother talked to him made him feel like a toddler fighting his nap time. He narrowed his eyes, swallowing down the rabbit that tried to crawl up from his chest and into his throat. That thing is enormous. Doxy gritted his teeth as Percy lifted the cage and peered into it as if the tiny crisscrossed wires weren't easily seen through. He waited for the beast inside to unleash its fury. It was nice knowing his eldest brother while it lasted. Percy clicked his tongue, even tapping the door of the cage. His body lurched as if the cage had opened when the thing inside chittered and the fluffy tail twitched. He wanted to be out of this room. He glanced behind his brother. The beast lay between him and the only escape. I'll come home more often. I'll polish your boots. I'll take care of your horse. What do you want? Have Fedvik come here. Doxy blinked and stared at his brother. Those bright green eyes didn't shift, but they had held steady. What do you want with Fedvik? Percy set the cage on the small table in front of the chair where Doxy perched precariously. I need his expertise, but I don't want to send a messenger and have word get out that I've hired him. He swallowed hard. The fear still gripped him, but another emotion reared and overrode it. Expertise in what exactly? Wielding dual swords? Archery? I need him as a son of Gachant, Dox. His brother's cheeks were flushed and the eyes strayed, looking at the floor. Put it away. Doxy heard his own voice come out like a frog's croak. Not until you promise. I fucking promise to get Fedvik to teach you how to fuck, Doxy bellowed. Percy chuckled with a shake of his head. I'm glad we're the only ones home and our servants don't gossip. He picked up the cage and left the room. Doxy breathed finally. He eased himself back down into the chair, noting the wrinkles in the drapes. His mother would smack him for that later. He ran his hands through his hair. It had gotten longer, and the stuff was usually everywhere but where he wanted it. Today it was tickling his ears and falling right between his eyes to attack his nose. Why wasn't Percival able to ask him like a normal person? Doxy covered his face, rubbing his brows and eyes before his cheeks to calm himself down. He was fine. Everything was well. He didn't get eaten. What was Percy going to do with Fedvik? It was common knowledge that the sons of Gachant instructed in carnal delights. Did Percy have a lady he was interested in and needed to make that much of an impression? Surely his brother wasn't the type to deflower a lady without wedding her. Was he? Salek was, somewhat. Matthias knew the composition of cum, and that was all that mattered to the academic. Doxy shuddered, trying not to picture his brothers with partners. Fedvik kissing Percy entered his mind. Doxy stood and paced the room. How many times did he have to tell himself there wasn't a chance of Fedvik paying him any mind? How many times did he have to tame his heart when Fedvik teased him? Maybe he should hire Fedvik. That would be the only way to get the redhead's mouth on him. Dox, you cannot have him. Doxy stared at Percy as Percy stared at him. What had come out of his mouth? I cannot have who? There was something in Percival's tone, the way his eyes gleamed, and the way his body was too relaxed. The eldest was up to something. Doxy was in that something, and he didn't like it. Percy's plans were never to his benefit, and always to his downfall. Fedvik. He's for hire, isn't he? Again, Percy's usual absent-minded scratching at the patch on his thigh was too ordinary. He was trying far too hard. Yes, he is, I think. He might not be. No, he isn't. Doxy's word rushed out of his mouth as his brain came up with him. He's busy. Busy with what? Too busy to get paid well? He's busy training me. Percy tilted his head back. Training you for what? Archery? Double swords? Or is it one fleshy sword? There it was. Doxy walked right into whatever Percy wanted. That triumphant glow on his pale face set Doxy further on edge. If he wasn't careful, his heart still might burst. Or break. Archery. Why was it so hot in the room? It's about time you spent time with him. Although, I had hoped for other training for you. Doxy watched Percival's smile travel from his eyes to his lips. How was it he possessed the capacity to watch over every single one of his siblings and know their every need? Doxy didn't even understand his own needs or wants. You did all of this to get me to admit to having Fedvik train me. No, I did all this to make you think about getting Fedvik to train you. Percy lifted a shoulder and sat down. He readjusted his pant leg with a groan, tugging the fabric so it settled better on his thigh. Doxy pulled a small tin out of his pocket. Harry said for you to try this. He tossed it to his brother and sat across from him. How is he treating our dear sister? Percy demanded, unscrewing the tin and sniffing the bomb inside. He made a face while muttering, Why do all these things have to be so rank? They don't leave the room except to forage for food. Percival laughed. Well, he warned us that would happen. He frowned, putting the lid back onto the tin. I am glad that she found someone worthy, but to have the youngest married off first was not my plan. Doxy rolled his eyes as he asked, And what was your grand plan for all of us siblings? For you to be happy, of course. I need one of you to give me an heir, for I doubt any woman would want to touch my disease. You don't know that. Doxy hated seeing Percy sell himself short. There was a woman out there. They just had to find her. If he had any chance with Fedvik, it might ruin him for anyone else. He imagined a future solely with Fedvik, but his brother needed an heir too. He glanced up, watching Percy watch him. What? I do not mean for you to give me an heir, Dox. What? You read minds now? No, you are pouting, and you have a one-track mind. Well, forgive me for not being the grand strategist Percival Palm. You are the one who must have your own heir. The rest of us are too lowly in mind to have offspring to meet your standards. I'll take Adeline's firstborn. Half a brain from Harry is adequate. Doxy rolled his eyes and murmured, Yet again, I'm never going to be as good as the 7. Of course you will. One day. Only not today. So that is chapter 1. All right. Want me to read anything else? Let me know. I am thirsty. Nice. I love the sibling dynamic. Yeah. They are, I think Doxy and Percy are the funnest to be together in the same room. I think next is Adeline and Doxy. Seelick is has no filter. So, yeah. That he whatever he thinks comes out of his mouth, and it's not good. Matthias, on the other hand, doesn't speak at all. Well, he doesn't speak much, and when he does speak, he never stops because he can go on and on and on about a singular subject forever. So yeah, I just want to read all the changes. That's my favorite part as a beta, seeing the difference. Yeah, there wasn't too awful many changes. I thought about switching up some chapters, but I I didn't. Um, because the first two books are so short. Since these are novellas, I just assume that everybody's going to read all these in order because they are so small. So yeah, the scene with Slaith is hilarious. I swear the elf was about to break his eyeballs from rolling them. He does. He even rolls his eyeballs at Bertrand, so his eyeballs get a lot of exercise. More exercise than any other part of him, I'm sure. Oh my gosh. Um, there will be a additional little teaser that I'm going to put up for a little while, probably on Substack, and it's going to be the reason why Doxy is so scared of squirrels. My beta readers are going to get it first, just so that they can enjoy it first. And after about a month, I'll probably put it behind a paywall. Um, but when we do the Kickstarter for the omnibus, I will include that short little story of why Doxy is scared of squirrels and why Percy has some squirrels tamed and has talked Harry into taming some squirrels too. Although Harry is a little less likely to use them against Doxy than Percy is. Percy is a manipulative little thing. I mean, all he does is read and think, and yeah, so he's going to come up with some doozies for his siblings. All right. Thinking. I'm going to read you another flashback. This one is actually from My Husband Wants to Keep Me Sated, so it is Charn's point of view. It's chapter 2 as of right now, and My Husband Wants to Keep Me Sated. And the title Is You Is or Is You Ain't My Constituents? Charn was one of the last of this. He was the last to join before Doxy. So this was 12 years ago, not 25, 24 years ago. So Regis, Bertrand, and Slaith have been together for life. Harry and Fedvic joined 24 years ago, or 12 years ago before that. 12 years before Charn did. So Charn has only been with them for 12 years when these books come out. So here's chapter 2, flashback. Charn's point of view from My Husband Wants to Keep Me Sated, which is going to come out hopefully in August-ish. But Dragonkin fire was like no other breath known. Dragons themselves did not hold as much power and viciousness as their smaller cousins. Fire-wielding elves and witchkin fires were only good for as long as they could draw magic from within. Their fires were often warm, welcoming, like that of a hearth on a cold night. It was Dragonkin, touched by darkness, who had the evilness of humanity in their hearts, wielding fire unstoppable, who destroyed lives and lands. Those were the Dragonkin of Surland, a powerful force of chaos controlled by the whims of a tyrant crazed with power. For it was the king that made them hate, made them give up hope, and took every iota of love and kindness away. They spread their king's wishes of pain, hunger, anger, hatred across the land because that was all they knew to exist that lasted. For hope and love turned to ash in a breath, leaving behind an emptiness never to be filled. It was one of those monsters he knew he stared down. Two had red hair like the king. There was no denying it. Except they were cutting down their own. Were these five so bloodthirsty they would slay their own men to sate it? He killed a Serlandian, one redhead said, standing to the side and behind the man he supposed was their leader. I saw, the black-haired man with a ridiculously large sword said. Is he one of the good guys? The other redhead asked while rolling up his whip before hooking it to his belt. When in the past decade have I read minds, Harry? Be driven mad by these two here alone, the white-haired elf said, his gaze swinging between the redheads to his left before settling back on the task at hand. Who are you, boy? Charntale Mamrin of Ichla, he answered, warily watching the five in turns, waiting for any untoward movement. He'd seen what they could do, and he doubted he had a chance. He would at least take one down with him. The Surlin bastards. Isn't that the city that we were too late for? The redhead with the whip asked, turning his full focus on Charnchale. Are you a survivor, or did you help turn it into ash? Survivor. Three of the men turned to look at the quiet redhead, who was staring off in the distance, watching a house crumble perhaps. He turned, possibly feeling their stares. Oh, I missed it. Try again. The elf sighed, turning back to him. Did you serve, or are you with the tyrant king? Did you survive, or are you with the tyrant king? Would a follower of a tyrant king think that he was a tyrant king? The talkative redhead asked. I mean, I called him father for the longest, didn't really think of him as a tyrant. Bastard, unhinged, power-hungry, rapist, murderer, all those, sure. But tyrant hardly crossed my mind. Tyranny. Are you a follower of his will? The elf backhanded the redhead, the hit lighter than it should have been. Well, I'm a tyranny, too, and he could be in love with me. Harry, the elf backhanded him again. Do you ever shut up? No, the redhead said with a grin, rubbing both cheeks. Watching the banter of the five, the exasperation in most of them except for the redheads, Charntale knew he was among allies, not enemies. He could feel it in his gut, but still. The one said he was a tyranny, even called the tyrant king, long dead but his evil remained, father. I have no king. I've wandered and tracked the heathens as best as I can, killing them when I find them, for Ichla. He has a pretty voice. The tyranny's grin changed into something a bit more wicked as he prodded the other redhead with his elbow. The black-haired man put the point of his sword in the ash-covered ground and leaned on it. I am Regis Nervasos, commander of this. He made a face and gestured to the men around him. Whatever you want to call this band of idiots and killers. We follow King of Nova, Gervin. You may leave, or you may travel with us for a while. Leave! Run! The quiet redhead whispered loudly, eyes wide, but his mouth was curved into a smile. It has been a while since we had someone join us. Do you think he has what it takes to train with us? This coming from the other elder of the group. Seriously, run. The redhead who had been whispering before said with a nod. I don't mind challenges as long as it means I can keep killing the rapists and terrorists, Charntale stated, feeling a small burn in his chest. Had he finally found a way to get his revenge? Could he join this band of mercenaries or knights and wipe the enemy off the earth? What's your name again? My family used to call me Charn. That will be good enough. You are... He put the old sword back in the cracked scabbard at his side, It was something he found in the wreckage of his great-grandfather's home. Regis, Harry, Fedvic, Bertrand, and Slaith. Regis pointed to each one. Harry grinned. Welcome to the band of vicious tamers. We are not going with that, Regis said with a roll of his eyes. He picked up his sword and moved forward, watching for any movement in the bodies strewn over the ground. Charn knew there was something to be said about a group of men accepting a stranger. They were sure of themselves, not at all scared of him, and knew if he attacked, they would kill him. Perhaps he needed to be wary still. Something niggled in the back of his mind as he followed Regis and the two redheads. Something said at a tavern, not that long ago, a band of 5, led by everyone called Duke Vicious. Were these them? If so, he was in luck. Herrick Tierney. He heard that name too, the dissenter, the 7th son who killed his own father and 2 of his elder brothers. Harry was what these men called him. He didn't recall hearing any of the other names before. Harry alone was worth joining the group. He wasn't at all like Charn imagined. The redhead was still talking, trying to convince Regis to accept the name of the group. Charn, how would you like to carry all of our gear? He asked, like there is a choice. Fedvic turned, glaring at Bertrand, then turning his gaze to Charn. I told you to run. So that is how Charn found his way amidst what became of the 7. When Charn joined, there was only 6 of them, of course. Heather had to step away because of family. That's all right. All right. So that's a little sneak peek into My Husband Wants to Keep Me Sated, which will hopefully be coming out August-ish, end of August, early September maybe. I'm going to crack down and really write on it these next 2 weeks so that I can start editing and then get it to beta readers as soon as I can. So yeah, thank you for joining me for the cover reveal of My Husband Wants to Keep Me Gay. If y'all would like me to read anything else, now's the last chance. So for My Husband Wants to Keep Me Gay, you have choices between pages 1 and 158, or you can make me read a chapter. Chapters are between 1 and 33. Or if you want another little chapter or page from Sated, it's pages 1 through 88 or chapters 1 through 26. Poor Charm. Yeah. He should have ran. Fedvic warned him twice, maybe even 3 times. Fedvic warned him, and he still did not run. So there he is. There he goes. Hey, Beth. That was fun. I'm glad you enjoyed. But yeah. Again, I love these little books. I'm hoping that the second season is going to be just as fun, if not more fun, than these first 4. Like I said before, they're going to follow the Palm brothers and a character you have not met yet named Rix. Well, you kind of have met them a little bit, like 1 or 2 lines in Dominant. So yeah. Okay, he's sticking around despite the insanity. He's adopted. I mean, I know why I would stick around the 6, or the 7 rather. I would know why I would. Charn just has a penchant for torture, apparently, just like the rest of them do. Oh my goodness. Torture and pain, torture and pain. All the boys are all torture and pain. All right. Thank you for joining me. And if you want to hear more, let me know in some of the live streams or in a comment on this, and I will pop up with a little short reading the page or the chapter. I hope this book will be out June 11th, but again, I have to see to a couple of things before I solidify that date, and we will go from there. I hope. I just love the thought that Harry would ever deny punishment. No, not for himself. I mean, I see I see him even like jumping in front of somebody who's going to get a whiplash because he likes it. So yeah. But yeah. Let's see, today is Tuesday, so I will not see you again until Friday for the 3 p.m. chatty stream where we do some productivity, but we do talk a lot as well. And then Saturday, I will be at another book fair. It is the Queen City Book Fair. So if you are in the Charlotte area, make sure to come on by to the Queen City Book Fair. I do believe it's free admission. Come see me and a lot of other authors there Saturday. I know I am rocking in my chair. It's a thing I do. Always got to keep moving, right? So apologize for that if it makes you sick while you're watching. See you in other streams. Good luck on all of it. Thank you so much. I will see y'all Friday, and we will go from there. Bye.